Ladies and gentlemen, everyone wants strength, but nobody wants the suffering that forges it. You want to be successful. You want money, muscles, respect, power, then be grateful it hurt. Be thankful the world didn't hand it to you. Because if it did, you'd never become the man you were supposed to be. Pain is the entry fee to greatness. There is no other way. The reason you're not elite is because you've been avoiding pain like it's the enemy. But the truth is, pain is the best mentor you'll ever have. It doesn't lie, it doesn't sugarcoat, it exposes you. When it hurts, it's not life being cruel, it's life giving you the clearest lesson you'll ever get. You're not there yet. Pain is not punishment. Pain is not some cruel cosmic joke. Pain is the price you pay for growth, evolution, and power. Every single time you've been knocked down, betrayed, broken, or pushed to your limits, that wasn't life trying to destroy you. That was life teaching you. Life was offering you the most powerful, permanent kind of education, experience. You didn't lose in those moments. You were enrolled in the most elite training course on earth. The people who go the farthest in life aren't the ones who avoided pain. They're the ones who embraced it and learned from it. You think champions become who they are by accident. You think warriors are born in comfort. No, every real transformation begins with pain. Muscle is built by tearing it. Discipline is formed by denying temptation. Wisdom is forged in the fire of regret, humiliation, and failure. And greatness only exists on the other side of intense, gut-wrenching pain. It's not a coincidence that your biggest breakthroughs came after your darkest moments. It's not random that the best version of you started emerging after you got hurt, because when you're in pain, you're finally forced to confront yourself. The illusions get stripped away, the comfort zones burn down, you start to see who you really are, what you're made of, and what you've been avoiding. Pain exposes your gaps, it highlights your laziness, your excuses, your entitlement, but it also ignites your fire, if you're man enough to handle it. Most people waste their pain. They numb it with distractions, bury it with lies, or run from it with excuses. But the real ones, the you individuals, the ones who end up unstoppable, they use pain like fuel. They don't cry about being broke, they learn to hustle. They don't stay depressed because someone left, they level up until they're undeniable. They don't fear failure, they welcome it, because it means they're playing the game with intensity. That's the mindset shift you need to make. Stop seeing pain as a setback and start seeing it as an invitation. Every time it hurts, it's a signal that you're on the edge of your limits. And that's exactly where growth lies. Nobody grows by staying comfortable. Nobody evolves by playing safe. You grow when it hurts. You grow when you're tested. You grow when life beats the softness out of you and demands the rise of a harder, sharper, more focused version of yourself. Let me make it even clearer. The pain you're going through right now, whether it's emotional, financial, physical, mental, that pain is a gift. Because it's forcing you to make a choice. Stay soft and surrender to it, or use it as a reason to become a savage. That's the real difference between winners and losers. Losers cry and quit. Winners feel the pain, look it in the eye, and say, "Good, let's go again." Your story won't be powerful because everything went smooth. Your story will be powerful because you took the hit, bled on the battlefield, and still refused to stay down. You built resilience not from winning, but from losing and getting back up 10 times stronger. You built character from the late nights when no one believed in you, but you kept pushing anyway. You built strength when you had nothing left but chose to show up again. Every cut you've suffered, every disappointment you've faced, every failure you've endured, that was your gym. That was your training ground. That was life preparing you for more. Be grateful for that, because without the pain you would have stayed weak. You would have stayed average. You would have stayed comfortable, and comfort is the fastest path to mediocrity. So next time it hurts, don't ask why me, ask what is this teaching me? Because pain, if you pay attention, is the most honest teacher you'll ever have. It doesn't flatter you, it doesn't coddle you. It demands your attention and forces you to level up or stay behind. And the moment you start respecting pain as part of your path, not as the end of your story, you become unstoppable. Real men don't fear pain, they respect it, they endure it, and they learn from it. Be grateful it hurt, because that means you're alive, you're improving, and you're not one of the weak ones hiding in comfort. You're in the game, you're in the fire, and you're coming out forged like steel. Comfort is one of the most dangerous addictions in the modern world. It doesn't scream, it doesn't shout, it doesn't destroy you overnight, it whispers, it lulls you into stillness. It convinces you that you're okay. Even when your bank account is empty, your body is soft, your goals are forgotten, and your fire is gone. Comfort kills men slowly, silently, and without mercy, and the worst part, most men never even realize it's happening. They think comfort is happiness. They think avoiding struggle is winning, but it's not. It's the trap. The truth is, comfort creates weakness. It breeds laziness, entitlement, and mediocrity. The more comfortable you become, the less drive you have to fight. And when you stop fighting, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Look around. Most people are already dead, not in the grave but in their routine, living the same day on repeat. Waking up doing just enough to survive, scrolling through distractions, and falling asleep a little more defeated every night. But pain wakes you up. Pain is the alarm clock that reminds you, this isn't enough. When your body aches, it means it's time to train harder. When your heart breaks, it means you gave it to someone unworthy, and now it's time to reclaim your self-worth. When your finances crumble, it's life showing you that you need more discipline, more aggression, more vision. That sting you feel, that's growth knocking at your door, but you only hear it if you're not deafened by comfort. You don't rise in comfort. You don't sharpen your mind, build muscle, develop skill, or gain respect sitting on the couch. You do that when you're under pressure, when you're forced to focus, when you're in the trenches doing the work no one else wants to do. Ask any man who's built something real. He didn't do it while sipping lattes and taking naps. He did it under stress, under fire, under constant attack. Because pressure creates diamonds. And weak men avoid pressure like it's poison. Comfort is the biggest scam of the 21st century. You've been sold a lie. Take it easy. Don't overwork. Self-care means doing less. No, real self-care is doing what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. Self-respect comes from keeping promises to yourself. Strength comes from choosing the harder path on purpose. That's what separates men who have from men who wish. Discomfort is where greatness begins. Think about it. When have you truly changed your life? Was it when everything was smooth and easy, or was it when your back was against the wall, when you had no other choice but to fight, when you had to become someone better to survive? The answer is always the same. Growth happens in adversity, not in comfort, never in comfort. That's why the gym is painful. That's why studying is boring. That's why waking up early sucks. That's why starting a business feels impossible. Because those things matter, and what matters is always guarded by pain and resistance. It's like a gate. And every time you step through that discomfort, you earn power. But most men see the pain and turn around. They see the discomfort and think, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Wrong, you're just soft, and softness can be fixed. With action, discipline, and a deep hatred for staying average. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're telling yourself, I don't want to grow, and your body listens. Your mind listens, your life reflects it. But when you lean into the discomfort, when you chase it, when you wake up and say, make it harder, I can handle it, now you're speaking the language of high performance. Now you're walking the path of power. The most dangerous man in the room is not the loudest, it's the one who's made peace with pain. The one who welcomes suffering like an old friend, because he knows every ounce of discomfort he endures puts him miles ahead of the weak. While the average man is still hitting snooze, he's already won the morning. While the average man is complaining about his job, he's building something of his own. While the average man is numbing himself with cheap dopamine, he's sharpening his mind like a blade. So stop treating discomfort like the enemy. It's not. It's the gatekeeper of every dream you've ever had. Embrace the burn, welcome the struggle, smile when it hurts, because the more it hurts, the more it's working. That's how you break free, that's how you evolve, that's how you kill the version of yourself that was never meant to make it, and become the man you were born to be. Nothing worth having comes without a price. You want success, pay for it in sweat, time, pain, and discipline. You want power, pay for it by waking up early, grinding in silence, and being hated for being better. You want freedom, pay for it by making sacrifices most people aren't willing to make. Victory is never handed to anyone. It's earned in the dark, alone, through long nights and hard days, through rejection, failure, and brutal self-discipline. Every man you admire, every figure who commands respect, every high performer who dominates life, he paid for it. Full price, no discounts. You can't cheat the process. You can't shortcut greatness. You can't beg for success and expect life to just hand it to you because you want it bad. Wanting isn't enough. Wanting is cheap. Everyone wants, but only a few are willing to suffer. The gym hurts. Building a business is hard. Relationships test you, and maintaining discipline is a daily war. But guess what? That's what makes the reward worth it. If it were easy, if it came fast, it would mean nothing. Sacrifice is the toll you pay to cross the bridge from average to elite. Every second you spend grinding while others sleep, that's sacrifice. Every moment you spend saying no to distractions while others are partying, that's sacrifice. Every dollar you invest in your future instead of wasting it on temporary pleasure, that's sacrifice. And if you're not willing to make those sacrifices, then you don't deserve the reward. It's that simple. Everyone wants the glory, but few are willing to suffer through the grind. You want a ripped body, but eat like a child and train like a tourist. You want millions, but you're scared to take a risk, scared to be broke, scared to hustle without applause. You want peace, but you won't face your demons. It doesn't work like that. To win in life, you've got to lose first. Lose comfort, lose laziness, lose excuses. You've got to strip yourself of weakness and replace it with habits, mindset, and grit. Every high you man has walked through pain. Every man at the top has been broke, lost, disrespected, underestimated. But they didn't fold, they didn't break. They paid their dues. They sacrificed sleep, relationships, comfort, and ego. And that's why they win, that's why they dominate, that's why you look up to them, because deep down you know they endured what you're too afraid to face. If you're not ready to bleed for it, don't expect to own it. If you're not prepared to put your soul on the line, stay average. But if you're serious, if you want to build a life that commands respect, that echoes when you're gone, then start sacrificing. Start saying no to the things that keep you weak. Start giving everything to the grind, even when it's thankless, even when no one claps, even when it hurts. You've got to suffer to win. You've got to carry the weight most men drop. That means training when your body aches. That means building when the money isn't coming in yet. That means staying focused when the world's pulling you in 100 directions. That's the cost of victory, and if you want to be a winner, you better be willing to pay in full. People see success and think, he's lucky. No, he's not. He's sacrificial. He said no to the party so he could study. He woke up at 5 a.m. every day while others snoozed. He built in silence for years before anyone paid attention. He endured ridicule, broke through rejection, outlasted comfort, and now he's eating. That's not luck, that's sacrifice paying dividends. Most men are broke because they refuse to sacrifice. They want to enjoy life, What they don't realize is that true enjoyment comes from winning, from building something real, from waking up and knowing you're ahead, not behind. And that only happens when you put in the work when no one's watching, when you sacrifice. So here's the truth. If it doesn't cost you, it won't grow you. If it doesn't hurt, it won't change you. And if you're not willing to give something up, don't bother asking for more. Life doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the obsessed, the committed, the ones who say, take everything from me, just don't take my mission. You're not entitled to victory. You must earn it, and that means giving up what you want now for what you truly desire most. That means walking through the fire voluntarily. And when it burns, when it gets lonely, when it feels like too much, remind yourself, this is the price. And the ones who pay it, they're the ones who rise. Pain isn't random, it's not meaningless, it's not just some emotional storm that shows up to ruin your life. Pain shows up with a purpose, to reveal something you've been ignoring, hiding from, or avoiding. It's a spotlight on the parts of yourself that are weak, untrained, underdeveloped, or broken. It doesn't show up to hurt you. It shows up to wake you up. Most men sleepwalk through life until something shakes them. Until the girl leaves, until the business fails, until they get humiliated, rejected, or betrayed. Then suddenly they're alert. Suddenly they're listening. That's pain doing its job. That's pain whispering, you weren't ready. Pain is the signal. It's the truth detector. It doesn't lie. If something hurts, it's because something matters. You don't get emotional about things that are irrelevant. You don't feel pain unless it's tied to something important. A weakness that needs strengthening, a boundary that needs enforcing, a lesson you haven't learned yet. Pain is feedback. Most people just cry about it, complain, numb it, escape into distractions, comfort, or excuses. But warriors, high-level men, they listen to it, they analyze it, they ask, why does this hurt? What's this trying to show me? When a fighter gets hit in the ring, he doesn't scream, why me? He reviews the footage, he checks his defense, he studies his weakness. That's what pain is for. It reveals what needs attention. It exposes what's soft. If you're heartbroken, that pain is telling you something about your standards, your emotional control, or your identity. If you're broke, that pain is telling you about your work ethic, your strategy, your mindset. If you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or empty, that pain is revealing your lack of boundaries or discipline. Pain doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to transform you, but you have to let it. You have to look it in the eye and extract the lesson. That's where purpose is born, that's where direction is forged. When you understand your pain, you unlock your mission. You turn agony into clarity. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this preparing me for? You'll notice this pattern in every strong man's life. The pain that almost killed him, it became the reason he dominated, the heartbreak that shattered him. It became the fuel behind his discipline, the betrayal that broke his trust. It forced him to become independent, strategic, and dangerous. Every time pain shows up, it's a chance to level up, but only if you're man enough to stop running and start learning. Weak men avoid pain, they lie to themselves. They try to pretend it doesn't exist. They mask it with fake smiles, meaningless entertainment, addictions, and cheap dopamine. But the pain never leaves. It just gets buried, and buried pain becomes bitterness, fear, and self-sabotage. It creeps into your relationships, your business, your confidence. You think you're over it, but your results prove otherwise. That's why the only way out of pain is through it. You have to feel it, face it, and find the purpose inside of it. Purpose is not some magical thing you stumble upon. It's something pain reveals, when you're willing to sit with your suffering and ask the hard questions. What did I do wrong? What did I ignore? What must I become to make sure this never happens again? That's when you find direction. That's when you go from drifting to driven, because now you're not running from pain, you're running toward excellence. You're not avoiding life. You're attacking it with clarity and force. Pain has shaped every warrior, every champion, every alpha. Go look at their stories. There's always a moment when everything fell apart, when it got dark, when they hit rock bottom. That moment didn't end them. It refined them. It gave them the fire, the grit, the hunger. It showed them who they were and what they were capable of. That's what your pain can do for you. If you stop seeing it as the enemy and start treating it as the forge. Every scar on your body, every wound in your heart, every bruise in your mind, those aren't weaknesses. Those are badges of war. Those are proof that you showed up. You didn't run. You didn't quit. You endured. You learned, and you're still here, more dangerous than before, because now you have experience. Now you have wisdom. Now you have purpose. So next time it hurts, don't waste it. Don't numb it. Don't wish it away. Look it in the eye and say, show me what I need to see. That's how you become powerful. That's how you become untouchable. Pain doesn't break you when you understand it. It builds you. It reveals your path. It strips away the lies and hands you the truth, raw, uncomfortable, but exactly what you needed. Gratitude isn't some soft, emotional concept for weak people to feel better about their lives. True gratitude, the kind that forges resilience and power, is the mindset of a warrior. It's the ability to look at pain, hardship, rejection, loss, and say, good, I needed that. Because deep down, you know pain is a part of the process. And if you're wise, if you're driven, you understand that without the suffering, without the setbacks, without the hurt, you'd still be the soft version of yourself who wasn't ready for greatness. Most people only feel grateful when life is smooth. When things are easy, money is flowing, people love them, and everything is going their way. That's surface-level gratitude. That's gratitude for comfort. But a real man, a man who's destined for dominance, is grateful for adversity. He's grateful for betrayal because it taught him who's real. He's grateful for heartbreak because it forced him to evolve. He's grateful for being broke because it forced him to build from nothing. He's not grateful because it was easy. He's grateful because it was hard. The world wants to raise you into a man who complains when he struggles. They want you bitter, resentful, entitled. They want you to blame others for your setbacks and search for external validation for your pain. That's weakness. That's victimhood, but when you're truly grateful for the pain, you take ownership of it. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? And in that moment, you take your power back. You learn to say thank you to the challenges. You say thank you to the people who betrayed you. You say thank you to the moments that almost broke you, because you understand every struggle is a step towards strength. Without those experiences, you wouldn't have the fire, the mindset, or the edge that separates you from the average man. Gratitude is a weapon. It's mental armor, because when you're truly grateful for every setback, you become unstoppable. Nothing can faze you. If life throws a challenge, you smile and say, perfect, time to get sharper. If life knocks you down, you say, thank you for reminding me that I can get back up stronger. That's real gratitude. It's not passive, it's active. It's choosing to turn every loss into leverage. Most men crumble because they believe pain is unfair, but a strong man is grateful for pain because he knows it's part of the game. It's the fee you pay to win. Nobody becomes elite by accident. You become elite when you learn to extract lessons from failure. When you thank life for every bruise, when you look back at the worst seasons of your life and realize they built your best qualities, discipline, focus, clarity, resilience. Let me tell you this, gratitude for pain doesn't mean you enjoy suffering. It means you respect it, you understand its role. You accept that you're not owed an easy life. You don't resent hardship because you know it's crafting you into something dangerous. And the more you embrace that mindset, the more unstoppable you become, because pain no longer scares you. It empowers you. You've got to shift your perspective. Every time it hurts, remind yourself, this is the process. Every great man has suffered, every powerful entrepreneur has failed, every real champion has lost. It's not the pain that defines you, it's your response to it. And when your response is gratitude, when you can say thank you, even in the fire, you separate yourself from 99% of the world. Weak men run from pain, they hate it, they curse it, but that mindset keeps them weak. Strong men thank the pain. They use it, they let it mold them, and because of that they become hardened, disciplined, clear, and capable of handling anything life throws at them. If you want to win in this world, stop avoiding discomfort and start appreciating it. Be grateful for the gym sessions that make you sore. Be grateful for the lonely nights spent working when others are partying. Be grateful for every door that closed. It made you build your own. Be grateful for the silence. It taught you to hear your own thoughts. Every tough season gave you something you couldn't have gained any other way. Gratitude doesn't make you weak, it makes you lethal, because when you start thanking the world for testing you, you rise to those tests like a warrior. You develop composure under pressure, you build calm in chaos, you create purpose from pain, and eventually nothing shakes you. That's how you win, that's how you dominate, by choosing to be grateful not just when it's easy, but when it hurts the most. So remember, be grateful it hurt, because that pain is your teacher, that suffering is your sharpening stone, and the fact that it burned, that means you were being forged into someone the world will never be able to ignore.